Welcome, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. I have been seeing some questions on how to incorporate BlockBase with Electric Quilt. I'll be sharing with you how I do that, and even more importantly, how I then take the block and create an original quilt around that block. On the home screen, select Search for Block Patterns. If you have purchased BlockBase Plus, you should be able to find that under the EQ block library. If you click on the plus, you will see that BlockBase Plus will work like any other library. But we also have an option to do a search by note card and type in the Brackman number, in this case 2898, and select Search. Then select OK, and let's select the second option and select Edit to Block Work Table. This is going to allow me to do some coloring before I put it in the quilt. To color the blocks, I am using some fabrics from Deco Stitch Elements by AGF Studio. This was the April 2021 free fabric collection from Do You EQ. So here's my first coloring, which I will add to Sketchbook. Then I will do a second coloring in Tealy Blues, and then add to Project Sketchbook. Select the quilt work table and select New Quilt and select the style On Point. Go to the Layout tab and select the first style and change the number of blocks, horizontal and vertical, to 2. And I'm going to change the size of my block to 6 inches. Select the Design tab and select Set Block and scroll to find the new blocks. With the Control or Command key, select one of the large corner blocks on the quilt. To find the pink coloration, I'm going to right-click on the block and select Select Coloring. Then I can select the pink coloring and I can click on the center square in the quilt. Next, I want to design a complementary block for the large setting squares. Select the block work table. Select New Block, Pieced Easy Draw Block. In the Precision toolbar, we can keep the block width and height at 6, but let's change the snaps to 4 by 4 and make sure that snapping option is just set to snap to grid. Use the line tool and draw a diagonal line from the lower left corner to the upper right corner. Then draw another diagonal line at 1.5 inches on the left to 1.5 inches on the top. Select the Color tab and color the upper left side with fabrics that we're using in the quilt. Color the other square with a color that is not being used in the quilt. I typically just call this an ugly color or ugly fabric, and select Add to Project Sketchbook. On the quilt work table, select the new block and click on each of the large setting triangles. The only one rotated correctly is the one on the right. Select the Rotate function and adjust the rotation of the other 3 setting triangles. With the fabric tools, I'm now going to select the background and I'm going to color the 4 corners. I'm also going to color the outer triangles for the teal block. That's going to give us the more of a floating illusion. And if you hide show quilt patch lines, you can get a better visual for what this is going to look like. Select the Border tab and change the size of the first border to 1/2 inch. We want this to be a long horizontal. Select Add, and the second border should be a 1 inch long horizontal. Then select Add and select the style Tile Square. Since every block in a tile square border must be square, in order to change the size of the border, we must change the number of blocks in border. Scroll down and increase the number of blocks to 10. Scroll back up and select Add, and then select Add again. We're now adding 2 additional 1 inch borders. Select the Design tab and turn on the Hide Show Quilt patch lines. Color each of the long horizontal borders. Let's create a couple of blocks using some of the concepts from the Magic Cross block. So I like this particular unit, and I'm also going to use a half square triangle unit. So select the block work table and select a new block, Pieced Easy Draw. And let's change the size to 2 by 2. Keep the snaps at 4 by 4. And with the line tool, draw a line from the lower left corner to the upper right corner. And then draw a partial diagonal line. We're going to just start in the center and go to the upper left corner.
Select the Color tab and color the first variation using pinks.
And I'll add that to the sketchbook. And the other using the light and dark teal and add to sketchbook. Then with the Draw tab, select the Pick tool and delete the shorter diagonal line. Go to Color, and we can add this to the sketchbook, and I'm going to do another one with the darker pink and add to sketchbook as well. Select the Quilt work table, and under Block Tools, Set Block.
Locate the block with 3 triangles, and using the Control or Command key, select one of the tile square block spaces.
To change the orientation of the blocks, select Rotate, and using the Alt or Options key on your keyboard, single click on one of the blocks on the right, click 2 times on the bottom, and 3 times on a block on the left.
Let's alternate the teal blocks with some pink blocks. Before doing that, I want to check one setting. Go ahead and select Work Table Options.
And under Setting Blocks, I want to make sure I have turned on Maintain the Block Rotation when replacing blocks. Then select OK. And now under Set Block, I'm going to right-click, do a Select Coloring, and I'm going to select the pink coloring.
Click on every other block in the border along all 4 sides. Then locate the half square triangle and click on 2 of the corners. Right-click on the half square triangle and select the other coloring and put in the other 2 corners. Then with the Rotate key, adjust the orientation so the colored square faces in.
Then I will select Hide Show Quilt Patch Lines. Select Add to Sketchbook. Thanks so much for watching. Electric Quilt is actually doing a BlockBase sew-along, and this is the block for this week. So check out their website to learn more about the sew-along. And if you would like additional tips and techniques regarding Electric Quilt 8, please subscribe to my newsletter at onpointquilter.com.